Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 18th. There are only four games on the board for today, so we'll jump into those. And we'll also do a quick recap, talk about what jaXon likes, and we'll get up off here. Should be a quicker show. There is a ton more games tomorrow. Tomorrow goes back to being a big slate. Hate when the NBA do this, but yeah, it's just what we got, man. A lot of games tomorrow. Only a couple games today, bunch of games yesterday. Let's jump into a quick recap. Was not a successful night for myself. Ended up giving a little bit back to the books. We had 2 winning days in a row, and I think 3 of our last 4 days were winning days, but yesterday gave a little bit back. Detroit minus the 6 was easy, and you was just hoping that Houston would do what they were supposed to do yesterday as well. They ended up losing the game outright to Philly. Just couldn't stop Philly from making a bunch of 3-pointer. Quentin Grimes, I think, had 46 points last night. So you just kind of take that one on the chin, man. Not expecting that. We got CLV, didn't matter. Julian Champagnie, I think it was his 3rd game in 31 tries that he didn't go up and over his 11.5 rebounds and assists. It was the perfect cap to him being able to go up and over. He only shot the ball 2 for 7 last night against the Lakers from the 3-point line. So his rebounds were fine. He just didn't end up scoring the basketball at all. So I think he finished with 10 rebounds and assists last night. So that was a loser as well. Probably should have just bet Karl Anthony Towns up and over his 3-point prop like we talked about yesterday. That was an easy winner and a plus 150 at the time that we talked about it yesterday. So try to do a little bit better here today. There's one play that I fired off on, a couple that I'm looking to make, and let's jump into it for today, man. Let's jump into it. What up, King Predictions? Oh, I want to give a quick shout out to I think it was Corey yesterday. Love the Kings, and they were definitely the right side. I woke up this morning thinking about that. What up, Ballheart? Appreciate you for talking in, man. For tapping in. What up, Marquise? Appreciate you for tapping in. Yeah, wake that ass up, Adam says. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Algina. Says Austin Reeves over his 5.5 rebounds was good money last night. Cashed easily. Good morning to my guy, Mark. Says let's make it a great day. And I probably should have took that, Marquise. I talked about it yesterday, man. Just didn't want to double dip in the same game. Says good luck on Pelicans team total under as well. 13 points in the first quarter. Ugh. Yeah, they ended up with 83 last night, and my research was just telling me that they were going to struggle to score the basketball because Detroit does not let you score at the rim, and that's where they would get a lot of their points from. Dom's also cashed with the Pistons first half was my only play last night. Easy winner. First quarter, first half, all that. And yeah, nice little bounce back. We also should just auto fade the Miami Heat at this point as well. They are terrible at basketball. I'm glad you cashed on the points, rebounds, and assists. Now, if you watched Kyle's show yesterday, I found it after my show. It was I played his rebounds and assist line. I think he had hit it in 29 of 30 games so far this season, and they absolutely suck prolific for sure. All right, so let's get into jaXon. Let's see what we have here. All right, so jaXon for today. Let's see. So I asked jaXon what was the best total prompt on the board for today, but I'm not getting a great response. It says Brooklyn and Boston, but it doesn't have the correct total. So maybe jaXon is tripping a little bit. What is the best ATS NBA bet today based on last 10 game advanced stats? Let's see what jaXon comes up with for today. It says under between Brooklyn and Boston, but it also has a total of 229, and the total is 215.5. So yeah, I mean, it is AI generated, right? But yesterday jaXon liked the Miami Heat. I couldn't get there, and that was a loser, but it also liked the under. So jaXon split yesterday. The under 212.5 did cash. I think the game finished with 211 points. So jaXon had a little split yesterday. Let's see what jaXon gives me for today as far as best NBA ATS bet based on the last 10 game advanced stats. Let's see what we end up coming up with here for today. And while it's loading, I'll just say that there is a link in the description where you can check jaXon out. And of course, I've been mentioning this before. There is also a new tier There's a $9.99 tier for people that are wanting to check it out, but don't want to like actually, pay too much money or actually subscribe. So you can check out the $9.99 tier. There's also 5 free prompts per month that you can get with jaXon as well if you're interested in checking out jaXon. So if you go over, I don't even think you necessarily have to create the account. Maybe you do have to create an account, but if you go over and type in, what prompt you're looking for, you can get 5 free ones per month. So definitely look into that. I'm trying to wait and let it process what is the best NBA bet for today to give you guys something, but jaXon might be asleep right now. Might be some downtime, some maintenance. I'm just getting a thinking prompt right now. So maybe we'll come back to it a little later. I don't want to hold the show up. Oh, here we go. So jaXon likes the Cavs minus the 4.5 today. It says they've been dominant over their last 10 games, boasting a plus 10.1 net rating, which is the third best in the NBA. They excel on both ends of the floor. Offensive rating 121, defensive rating 111. The Clippers have a solid plus 7.7 net rating over the same span, ranking sixth in the league. However, the defense 112.8 is not as strong as the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs' size and defensive prowess, led by Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, present a significant challenge for the Clippers. The Clippers' front court will struggle to match Cleveland's length and rebounding ability, especially with injuries to guys like Jordan Miller and Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn is actually going to play, and Jordan Miller doesn't move the needle, but that's what jaXon says. Cleveland is 26-6 on the road this season, showcasing their ability to perform in hostile environments. Plus, their plus 11-point differential on the road is the best in the NBA. And in advanced metrics, Clippers rank third in defensive efficiency over the last 10 games, allowing just 111.4 points per 100 possessions. The Clippers, while efficient offensively, ranked 10th. Ranked 10th offensively in offensive efficiency, which don't make sense, but have struggled against elite defenses like Cleveland. I think that's what it's trying to say. So yeah, the Clippers, the Cavaliers are relatively healthy with Evan Mobley listed as day-to-day, but expected to play. So recommendation is take the Cavs minus the 4.5. There's recent dominance, elite defense, and ability to perform on the road make them a strong ATS play for today. The Clippers' injuries and defensive vulnerabilities further solidify this pick. So jaXon likes the Clippers. The Cavaliers today minus the 4.5 is what jaXon likes. Cavs minus 4.5, and that number is moving to 5. It looks like got bet down to 3.5. We're gonna talk about it, but it's moving to 5 now on a couple books. So that's what jaXon likes. As far as this first game, let's jump into it. So as far as the first game, we got Atlanta and Charlotte. This opened at 5.5 is what Charlotte was getting, and now they're getting 6.5. And big part of that is because Miles Bridges is out for this game. They're listing him out for rest. So yeah, in my opinion, immediately what I wanted to take was an under, because I'm thinking, okay, well, who's gonna score the ball for Chicago? Who's gonna score the ball for Charlotte? I mean, they only got about 2 good scorers in the first place, him and LaMelo. Mark Williams, I guess, is a pretty good scorer, but I don't want to rely on Nick Smith and Daquan Jeffries, and like their bench is not good in my opinion. So I struggle with seeing how Charlotte is going to get to their team total. That's initially what I looked at in this game. But the more I looked into it, like I just kind of feel like the Atlanta Hawks are so untrustworthy. You got a Charlotte team total at 114.5 though. Charlotte don't score that many points. Atlanta is just so untrustworthy on the defensive end. Like they lost to Brooklyn the other day. Brooklyn was on a 5th game in 7 nights, back to back. Brooklyn's not a good offensive team, and I don't know. It just scared me off at the total. It did open at 238 yesterday on Fanatics. It's down to 236.5 on most books, but I digress. So Trae Young is listed as probable. Karis LeVert has already been ruled out. Clint Capella is also out, and I think that's it on the Atlanta side. Yeah, and then LaMelo is questionable. And then Josh Okogie is out. So Atlanta has won 3 straight in the head-to-head matchup. They beat them last week. That game was at 242.5. This one opened up 4 points lower. So that does indicate probably an under. Atlanta has lost back-to-back games. They lost to Brooklyn by 8 as a 6.5-point favorite. And then before that, they lost to the Clippers at home as well. They've given up 120 plus points in back-to-back games after winning 4 straight. They play in Golden State on Saturday. So lots of time after this one to kind of recover. On the opposite side, Charlotte is just not a bet-on team right now. I mean, they just lost by 35 to the Clippers. It kind of feels like that was the end of 5-game road trip, and it was a makeup game. It kind of feels like Charlotte just kind of zoned out. Like, I don't really want anything to do with Charlotte. They can't score the basketball. They don't play great defense. The opposite is just that it's Atlanta. And Atlanta, for whatever reason, when they lay points on the road, they just don't play their best basketball in this role. So it's really easy for me to kind of pass on the side. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. But like I said, it'd be, I guess, a slight lean towards the under. I just don't think that as bad as Atlanta defense is, Charlotte offense just really struggles. This game just went under between these two teams. So Atlanta's also played the easiest strength of schedule last 5 games. They still have a negative 1.6 net rating, while Charlotte is 24th in defensive rating. So I'm just not interested in playing defense. So easy play for me to skip as far as deciding the total goes. As far as player props, though, I did play one here, and it's another value play. Hopefully we can get back on the right side of player props. I have been doing pretty well. I think 2 of the last 3 have been losers, or it might be like 2 and 2. But anyway, Terrence Mann is who I like in this matchup here today. So you can see that this is his points plus assists. I played his regular points at 9.5. You can see his last 5 games. He's up and over in 3 of the 5. He's playing 25 minutes. He's getting up 9.6 shot attempts, shooting 50% from the field. So yeah, it's a play on Caris LeVert not being there, in my opinion. It's a play on the Charlotte Hornets defense being 24th in their last 5 games. They just don't play a lot of defense at all. So Terrence Mann has actually played back-to-back games where he's taken 12 and 13 shot attempts. You can actually see that right here. 12 and 13 shot attempts without Caris LeVert. So the last 2 games that he's played without LeVert, he had actually taken 12 and 13 shot attempts. LeVert's already been ruled out. We talked about that. With just 9 shot attempts this season, Terrence Mann is actually averaging 13 points per game. So he's up and over this number of needing him to get to 10 in 8 of his 10 games. And then it should mean more minutes and usage for him. He also gets about 1/5 of his points in transition, where Charlotte is bottom half of the league as well. And I just think the opportunity is going to be there for him. Like, his minutes have been consistent. Hopefully they continue to remain consistent, because I did play Terrence Mann up and over his 9.5 points. This number is up to 10.5 on some books, and I think we got a nice little value play here. So that's my thought process on this first game. Didn't want to touch the side in the total at all. Let's see what we have in the comment section here. See what you guys are thinking before we move it on over to the next one. Mark likes the 3.5. Okay, it kind of makes sense. Does kind of make sense, right? Let's see. Ask jaXon about the Clippers total. DJ says probably a look towards the under, DJ, but could talk about it a little bit more. Let's see. What up? Call me Aries is up early. Let's get the bag. Riding with jaXon. LJ says Cavs off a loss. Mobley is not officially ruled out though, right? Just double check that. I feel like I didn't see Mobley listed as out. Mobley is, he is not out. He is listed as game time decision. Listed as questionable. So we'll see what happens. My only loss last night was Toronto. When the hell did Phoenix decide to start smashing teams? I think that was more Toronto. I wouldn't put that on Phoenix. I think that's more Toronto, just kind of, selling the game on the second leg of a back-to-back. What up, LBA says yesterday was crazy. Hope you made some cash. Good morning, Jose. Like the Hornets team total under 114.5. It makes sense, user, but boy, it's bad, man. The Atlanta Hawks defense is so terrible. They just don't even try to play defense. LJ says, can you trust Hawks first half on the road versus the East? Check the numbers. He said you can trust them. Okay. I know the numbers didn't look good in that last game against Brooklyn. Adam says, I'm on Atlanta money line. I like the over. Atlanta versus bad teams go over a lot. Yeah, just who's gonna score the points for Charlotte though? That's the thing that scares me here. Yeah, I did see the Dodgers are playing the Cubs, and they're playing in Tokyo, I think. Shout out to all my MLB guys. No look at all on the first half total at all. All right, let's move over to the next one. I think we did a pretty good job there. Next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. So injury report for this one, we got Al Horford, who's been taken off the injury report. Derek White is in, and Jaylen Brown is out, and Jason Tatum is questionable. So we got to actually find out who's going to play in this game. We'll see how that goes. It looks like Sam Hauser will probably get the start with no Jaylen Brown out there. So without Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, I think the defense gets a little worse for Boston. I think that the Boston Celtics will be able to score the basketball. We got to remember, these two teams just played. Boston was laying 11. They only won the game by 2, and a big part of that was Brooklyn three-point shooting. They shot the leather off the basketball. I think they shot 40% from the three-point line. They followed that up with a game against Atlanta, where they also shot the ball really well. So Brooklyn has actually been shooting the ball a little bit better than expected over their last few games. And I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I know that the Brooklyn Nets are not a good three-point shooting team. I don't want to be fooled by the gimmicks. I'm just not sure how much Boston is going to want to care about this game. They don't have a look-ahead spot. Boston plays in Utah. So, you're playing Utah. Probably don't even need to send a G League team over there and beat Utah. Utah ain't even trying to win games. So, I'm not sure how much Boston wants to win this game. Boston is not necessarily the most profitable team at home, only 15-20 against the number, only 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games, only 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. So don't really want to lay the points with Boston here. Brooklyn has been a little bit more profitable on the road. We just saw them go into Cleveland and cover a game not too long ago. They're 20-14-1 against the number on the road. They've covered back-to-back games and 4 of their last 5. So makes it difficult to want to lay the points with Boston here, especially, this is a game I would definitely wait. Like if Boston ended up ruling somebody out, if Tatum didn't play, none of that would surprise me at all. The way that the spread is the way that the total is moving, it is almost indicative, in my opinion, of potentially somebody else not playing. Opened at 217.5, it's down to 215.5 now, and all my trends kind of point towards the under. If Boston rules a couple players out, maybe it is a look more towards the under. Boston will have to play a little bit more defense, but if Tatum plays, it's probably a look towards his rebounds and assists to go over. It's a line that he's just continued to cash, and I do think he'll have the ball in his hand to be the playmaker for the team. Probably won't necessarily be out there looking to score the basketball. So that's my thought process on that one. Real quick, in my notes I wrote yesterday, Boston only 1-2 against the spread when they're facing the same team that they previously just faced. They've gone under their team total in all 3 game 2s. Nets are 3-0 to the under. When they're facing the same team they previously faced, they stay under their team total and held all 3 opponents under their team total in the second leg of those little mini series as well. So a lot of stuff that says under, but I would wait for the injury report in this one. Not a game that I'm interested in playing, especially early. Just my quick thought process there. Real quick, I did want to see what Atlanta shot from the 3-point line in that game. What Brooklyn shot from the 3-point line in that game against Atlanta. So yeah, Brooklyn shot 17 for 38 from the 3-point line, 48.6%. Pretty sure that's not going to keep happening. Like they're hot from the 3-point line right now. They're due for some regression. If they continue to make threes at the rate that they've been making them, this game goes up and over easily. 215.5 is a super low total in today's NBA, the way that the games are played. So that's my thought process. I did not bet the game though. Yeah, let's see what we think about this one. Josh Green over his 2.5 boards from new name. One Sing City, I think is how you pronounce that. Tiffany says he likes Daniels prop points and assists over. Mark Williams, I'm not healthy in LA, but I'm an automatic double-double. Rest of lower 48. Pete says. Dom says, I know this is off topic, but this ESPN story on the response from men when the Sparks put out a call for the male practice players. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't read it, but I was looking into a little bit of what Cameron Brink said about it. What up, man? He says top of the morning, everyone. Hey, Chris, I'm not getting plays. For some reason, I need to fix my email address. There's links to my YouTube or something. Yeah, also make sure you signed in to the right tier too, man. The $2.99 tier is just a way to kind of support the show. The $5.99 tier is the one that gets all the plays sent directly to your email. So make sure you signed up for the right tier. And if you got questions, just email me. Just email me at ChrisBeCappinn with 2 N's and 2 P's at gmail.com. Adam says he got Brooklyn plus 15. Jose likes over. Mark says he took the points plus 13.5. Pritchard threes without Jaylen Brown is an auto bet, LJ says. Nets first quarter for Jason. These are plays that have been hidden for sure. Okay. G421 says could be a Nets plus 13. All depends on Boston players they're going to play. Tariq says he leaning Nets plus 14. So yeah, a Brooklyn podcast today, a Brooklyn show today. I couldn't talk you guys off. TC Best says morning, Chris in chat. Trey Murphy under 3.5 assists was green. I'm sick. Had to come off an injury though. Yeah, get well soon, Trey. He's done for the season. Early in the season as well, but you probably would have cashed anyway. Yeah, get well soon, Trey. I love Trey, man. Like Trey a lot. Shout out UVA. All right, let's move over to the next one. We got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors. This total open 234, down to 230.5. Spread open with the Warriors laying 3, and they are now getting 3.5 points as a home dog in this game. So lines have flipped a lot, and a lot of that came from, of course, last night after the game. Steph Curry potentially ruled out in this one. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. He was listed as questionable yesterday. The Golden State Warriors laid absolute egg at home against the Denver Nuggets last night. I think they shot less than 30% from the three-point line. They shot 55% from the free throw line last night. Had 20-plus turnovers, and they let the shorthanded Denver Nuggets come in there and beat them on their home floor, which is good for my Lakers because they lose. I was hoping that the Pacers end up beating the Timberwolves yesterday as well. And that's good because they would kind of gain the ground. So as much as I need the Golden State Warriors to keep winning, I did need them to kind of lose a game in there too. On the opposite side for the Bucks, when we look at the injury report, they should be pretty healthy. Of course, no Bobby Portis, but Gary Trent Jr. looks like he's going to try to give it a go. Dame Lillard is on the injury report listed as probable though. And then Jericho Sims may not be a part of this game. So we got the Bucks on the road, laying some points now. We'll see what happens. I think Golden State probably wants to bounce back in this spot. We look at the head-to-head. Golden State has been very profitable against the Bucks. They did go into Milwaukee, beat them 125-111 as a 7-point road favorite earlier this season. Pretty sure the Bucks were resting a couple players or missing a couple players in that game. The game did go up and over the total of 231. Golden State has won 2 of the last 3, and they've covered 4 straight spreads against the Milwaukee Bucks, going back to last season, or season before last, actually. So you got a Bucks team on the road that hasn't been profitable on the full season, only 13-17-1 against the spread on the road. It's their first game on the West Coast, with a game versus the Lakers on Wednesday coming up. They have been profitable last few games. They're 7-3 against the number in their last 10 games. They've lost by 16 to the Thunder in their last game, of course. And this is third game in 4 nights for them. They did play in a back-to-back after beating the Pacers the other day. On the Golden State side of things, they have still been slightly unprofitable as well at home, 15-18-2 against the spread now. Second leg of a home back-to-back, 3rd and 4th for them as well. 5th straight home game for them, and no travel afterwards. They got the Raptors coming into town on Thursday. So Milwaukee, when I was looking into some stuff, they are just 4-10 straight up, 5-8-1 against the spread when they're playing in their 14 games where they're facing an opponent that has a better record than them this season. And up until last night, they were tied record-wise, but I wanted just to kind of see how they were playing against teams that played up in competition. So if we're looking at the game, right, and we just start matching the teams up on the floor, I did this last night, but I can't remember exactly what I saw, so I want to do it again. If we're looking at a couple things I want to see here. So let's just do this together, okay? All right, first thing I want to see is I want to see Warriors Coming off a loss as a favorite. They are 8-6 against the spread, 6-8 straight up, and they're at home. They are 2-4 straight up and 3-3 against the spread. The Warriors unrested are 6-5 straight up, 5-6 against the number. They've covered 4 of their last 5 in this spot, 1 for their last 5, and they're 8-3 to the under. So the under already kind of jumped out because without Steph Curry, of course, the offense is not going to be as good. You could just leave it there, right? Maybe you think that I still think the total is too high. I know that it's come down 4 points, but I think that's highly dependent upon if Steph is going to play. So Warriors with no rest is not necessarily an automatic fade. And the Warriors with no rest is a strong look towards the under. These games are averaging 213 points, and 3 of the last 4 have actually gone under the total. 216, 203, 232 against the Lakers, and 225 against the Thunder in their last 4 games on no rest. All right, so then we start matching the teams up on the floor. Are the Bucks going to be able to score against the Warriors? So the Bucks recently are taking a lot of shots at the rim and in the mid-range. The number 1 in long mid-range frequency. Not shooting it really, really well, though. 16th in accuracy. Golden State defensively, top 10 defensive rated team, forcing the second most turnovers in their last handful of games. The Bucks have really struggled against shooting the three-point shot. And we saw that. We saw that in their last game against OKC. We saw it in the game against Cleveland. Like, they've really been struggling to score the basketball. The Bucks take a lot of their shots where at specifically. Let's just look at this real quick. They take them in the pick and roll. Well, they give it to the roll man in general, which is typically Giannis. And they're really good at that. Post up, second in frequency. Golden State does struggle. The Bucks are the second best rebounding team last 5 games. Golden State was dominated on the boards offensively and defensively last night versus Denver. I did look at that. Rebounding numbers were bad. And the Bucks have played the third strongest strength of schedule in their last 5 games, while Golden State has played against a little bit easier of a schedule. Feels like if you wanted the Bucks, you probably missed the best of the number. It's all dependent upon if Steph Curry is going to play or not, though. As far as Golden State, if we think that they're going to score against the Bucks defense, Golden State is taking a lot of shots at the three-point line. Number 1 in corner 3 frequency, 7th in in accuracy, 10th in above the break 3 frequency, 6th in accuracy, 4th in most threes taken, and 3rd in three-point accuracy last 5 games. Like I said, they just had a really bad shooting night last night. So can the Bucks guard the three-point line? Recently, no. 24th in opponent three-point accuracy last 5 games, 19th in opponent above the break 3 accuracy last 5 games, 27th in opponent corner 3 accuracy last 5 games. One more thing I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at the Warriors as a home dog. They are 3-6 straight up, 4-5 against the number. But all of these games came before Jimmy Butler joined the team. So yeah, I think you just Bucks is road favorites, 11-7 straight up, 7-11 against the number. They have covered back-to-backs against the Mavs and the Hawks. I don't compare either one of those teams to the Warriors. And let's add if they have the rest advantage. They are 3-2 straight up, 2-3 against the number, 4-1 to the over. Yeah, I kind of think the Warriors still can keep this game close, though. Also, real quick before I go through the comments, there is a player that I'm looking to bet on. We just talked about him in the last game. I like the under in this spot as well. But if we go back to Outlier, there's a player that we just talked about in the game on Sunday that I like to go under on his player prop here again. So probably end up running this one back. I haven't done so yet, but that is going to be Kyle Kuzma. I think Kuzma goes under his points prop again today. I saw him at 13.5 this morning on FanDuel. I think that line is still available. It looks like it's down to -130. It was -122 this morning when I looked at it. I didn't bet it, though. It was literally right before the show. Kuzma just gets a really terrible matchup yet again. So I'm not just, blindly fading it again, blindly fading Kuzma again. But The matchup does not bode well here for Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma is a guy that gets a lot of his shots, a lot of his points in transition. Golden State's top 5 defensive transition. He also gets a lot of his shot in the restricted area. Golden State is number 1 in points allowed in the restricted area, 8th in defensive efficiency. They also allow the 3rd fewest points in the paint. So I'm thinking that Kyle Kuzma, who gets a fourth of his points, almost 25% in transition, is going to struggle in this spot. So I do like Kyle Kuzma to stay under. It feels like Doc Rivers was kind of like trying to mix up the rotation a little bit in that last game as well. And I mean, the minutes aren't even certain, but yeah, you can see here that he's just struggling to shoot the basketball as of late. Only shooting, what is this, 43% from the field. Yeah, back-to-back games where he shot 36 and 36%, 22%, 44%. And yeah, this one just made sense. When I was looking into it earlier, I took the full game sample, and then I'm gonna get to the last game. I took the full game sample, and then I just went in here and I looked at games played with both Dame and Giannis. And yeah, you can see recently he struggled to get to 13.5 points, 9, 5, 8, and 10. And I do think that this game is probably going to be played a little slower as well. I don't think it's going to be played as fast. So you can see Golden State here, 8th in points allowed against the small forward. They are 5th in points allowed. So yeah, I like Kyle Kuzma under. You still can get 13.5 on a couple books, but that's a player prop that I'm looking to play in this game. I've not played it yet, but it's probably going to end up making my card today. Just haven't played it yet. And I probably got to hurry up because I don't want to get the worst of the number. Let's see what the thought processes are on this one. LJ says under 230, Bucks off trends to under offense, I think. Off a loss trend to the under, LJ says. Okay, so Bucks coming off a loss. I think I looked into that a couple of days ago. Bucks are 19-9 to the under, coming off a loss. So good find by LJ. That's 68%. Adam says jumped on Milwaukee plus 2.5 as soon as the line dropped. So lots of CLV. Hope it pans out. Curry did not look good last night, Mark says. Yeah, he shot the ball terribly. The team did. Bucks plus 3.5 for G421. I played it last night. Jimmy Butler Air Warriors are for real. I live a mile away from the stadium. Okay. Yeah, Obi Toppin hit a crazy shot last night in that corner. Looked just like Tyrese Halliburton. Don't sleep on Golden State. Steph didn't look good. Bet them, but thanks to your Lakers, they saved me. Glad you got saved. Golden State team total under. Trey says, yo, what up, Chris? Are the Rockets on the do not bet list? Stop all that capping and give me some to put $1,000 on. Love the content, bro. I don't think that they're on the do not bet list, Troy. I think that they you're not gonna win every game that you're supposed to win. And I think they just kind of overlooked the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly ruled out everybody. Philly had 11 players on the injury report last night. Like they had players, they had a whole full rotation of players that couldn't play on the bench. And Paul George, Maxey, and Embiid weren't even at the game. They probably wouldn't even have seats to sit down. Like they just signed O'Shea Brissett to a 10-day contract. Like you if you're Houston, you're coming off a couple big wins in a row. You're like, okay, cool. And what happens is you let your guard down. Next thing you know, Philly gets hot from the 3-point line. I think they hit like 15, 16 3-pointers. Your shots aren't falling. We know Houston's not the greatest offense. And Philly just came out there and played with more effort than them. So I definitely wouldn't say they're on the do not bet list. I think it's an outlier type game. 76ers don't even know how to tank right. They were supposed to tank the game last night. They need to lose, but I digress. Adam says, I think I'm gonna tell that under. Chris sounds like a solid bet. Milwaukee team total under was cashed against OKC. Now don't get it twisted. Golden State defense is good. It's not OKC good. It's not OKC good. I can't even bet Kuzma unders. I just banned him altogether. I don't ban players. Yeah, nah. That was my only bet yesterday, Trey. And you act like I just played the Rockets. Like I hit as bad as that bet was. The Detroit game was even better. Like I never even had to watch the second half of it because it was just that bad. Let's see. Mark says just play under 230 on BetMGM, but see it moving to 229 on some books. I do think the under is the right play. I do. Just kind of want to see what happens with the injury report. DZ says NBA so funny, props ain't been propping. They actually been good to me, DZ. They actually been good to me. Let's see. Let's get over to this last game. Get over to the last one. We got and somebody said thanks for the over. Yeah, I did think Houston would kind of overlook the Rockets. I just thought that Houston was going to score 140 last night, and the Rockets probably, would get to like 107 or something. And just never showed up with the defense last night. Last game is the Cavs and the Clippers. This line was at 4.5. It got bet down to 3.5. And now it's back up to 5. It looks like it's consensus. There are still some 4.5s out there. The total has gone up. This opened 229. It's up to 231.5. So on the injury report for the Cleveland Cavaliers side, Evan Mobley is listed as questionable. He did not play in that game, of course, on Sunday. And the Clippers should have everybody. Norm Powell is off the report. They're coming off like a 35-point win against Charlotte, so not very taxing game. The Cavs coming off a loss. It was the first time that they've lost in 15 games, I think it was. This is the first meeting of the season. Both teams split last season. Both home teams won. And Cleveland has covered they've covered all 3 of the last spreads, though. So we got a Cavs team that, as Jackson kind of mentioned, they do play well on the road, 22-10 against the spread. That loss to Orlando was an interesting one because Orlando put so much pressure on the 3-point line. The Cavs couldn't knock down their threes after starting the game off pretty hot. The Cavs have been kind of, as my guy Jay Money would say, kind of teetering on that loss, and we talked about it. They haven't been covering numbers. Only 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're also 5-1 to the under, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Sacramento Kings tomorrow in Sacramento. First game on the West Coast, of course. So the Clippers, really strong ATS team at the crib, 23-10 against the spread at home. Second straight home game. They're off until Friday, so they don't have to travel. When Memphis actually comes to them, they've won 3 in a row. They've covered all 3. Defensively, they've started to turn things up. Granted, they've been playing against some cupcakes, but they did hold Charlotte to 88 points on Sunday. Atlanta to 98 points, which was very impressive, on Friday. And then they held Miami, which, I don't know, man. I don't want to talk too bad about Miami's offense, but y'all see what's going on with Miami. They did hold Miami to 103 in their that was their last 3 games. So we've gotten some really good defensive efforts from the Clippers in their last few games. And I've mentioned, I think last week, that the Cavs have been winning with their defense as well because offensively they've really struggled. So both of these teams are top 10 defensive rated teams. The Cavs defense has actually been better than the Clippers. Cavs are the 3rd best defensive rated teams last 5 games, and primarily their 3-point shots aren't going in. If you go back and watch the show that we talked about last week, I said the same exact thing. The Cavs are still shooting the third most threes over the last 5 games, but they're actually shooting the worst 3-point field goal percentage in the NBA. They're actually 30th, dead last, 31.4% is what the Cavs are shooting from the 3-point line over their last 5 games. And if you look at the Clippers defense, it's been good on the full season against the 3-point shot. They do allow a lot of threes. On the season, they actually allow the 3rd most threes. But they hold teams, for whatever reason, to the 5th best percentage from the 3-point line. Last 5 games, they're top 5 defending the 3-point line as well. And if we just look at real quick, I didn't do this yesterday. Let me just go through it real quick. If you look at the strength of schedule here, Cleveland 16th, so middle of the pack. The Clippers have played an easy strength of schedule. I just talked about them beating Atlanta, Charlotte, and Miami. 25th in strength of schedule in their last 5 games. They are number 1 in efficiency differential, 8th in defensive rating, and 2nd in offensive rating. So I do think the Clippers offense is going to take a step back here. I don't think that they're going to be able to score the basketball. Even with Norm Powell back, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers coming off a loss are going to lock up defensively in this game, especially if those 3-point shots aren't falling. So immediately, as I'm just kind of talking that out in my head, it makes me think Clippers team total under. Like I mentioned, the Cavs defensive rating is 3rd last 5 games. They played a little bit more of a harder strength of schedule, and still have a defensive rating that's top 10 with a 107 defensive rating last 5 games. So if I look at the Clippers offense, they have been living in the paint, 8th in frequency, 3rd in accuracy. On the full season, same thing. They like to get downhill. Not the greatest 3-point shooting team, but they have been shooting it well recently. I do think we'll see a little bit of regression from the Clippers off 3-point offense. They're shooting 40.5% last 5 games. On the full season, only 36%. So I'm expecting them to, take a step back, being that they are playing against a pretty good opponent. The Cavaliers have been really good against the three-point shot. They are number one in opponent three-point accuracy and above the break three. Last 5 games, holding team to about 28%. Top 10 against all overall three-point defense as well. So it feels like the Clippers are going to struggle to score the basketball here. If we look at Clippers not playing fast, 15th in transition frequency, 24th in efficiency. So they don't want to get out and really run too much. And let's see, Cleveland and the Clippers. Cavs want to run. Then they are the best transition efficiency team in the NBA. Clippers are bottom 6 in that department. Cavs run the most pick and roll in the NBA at the 3rd highest efficiency rate. Clippers are 20th as far as frequency for their opponents. They are 10th defensively against the pick and roll. So really going to come down to, if you want the Cavs, if you lay in the points, it's going to come down, in my opinion, to if they're going to be able to knock down some shots at the 3-point line. It does kind of feel like an under. Feels like an under. I kind of think about pace. I know the Cavs play fast, but the Clippers, if they can dictate pace, they do play slow. They're 27th in pace last 5 games on the full season, 20th in pace. Let's see what the Clippers are as a home dog. They are 5-6 straight up, 7-4 against the spread, lose by average of 2 points. They're 6-5 to the over. They have covered back-to-back against the Celtics. They were getting 12 against the Pistons. They were getting 3.5 on the second leg of that back-to-back, won that game outright. Yeah, I would have wanted the 3.5, I think, here if I wanted Cleveland. I do think that Cleveland can win the game, though. I do think that their defense is capable of shutting down the Clippers. So maybe if Evan Mobley gets ruled in, I'll play Cleveland. What I don't like, though, I just want to make this clear. What I don't like for Cleveland is that they're on the first leg of a back-to-back. The Clippers don't play again until Friday. I mentioned that. Also, Cleveland traveling from Orlando. Clippers, no travel. And the Clippers also played against the Charlotte Hornets. That game was over with in the first quarter if you watch. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of making a case for the Clippers as well. I kind of making a case for the Clippers, especially if Cleveland 3-point shots not falling. That's just the way that I'm thinking about it. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and I'll think about this a little bit more. Grimes been a bucket. 46 last night. Let's see. Mark says Philly should be losing probably more than any other team. Pack implications. Yeah, it is. Super. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Dom says he'll play Cleveland first half, specifically minus the 2.5. Ideally, this is the Cavs bounce back. So the problem I have here with the Cavs first half is that these teams that are playing in the Intuit Dome for the first time, they like sometimes it's you shooting on a whole new rim, man. And if you watch Charlotte, I mean, granted it's Charlotte. That's the polar opposite of the Cavs. But these teams that are coming into the Intuit Dome for the first time, like, it's not always the greatest experience early. Like, so while they should bounce back, and maybe they still do defensively, I don't know, Don. I don't know, man. Don't let me talk you off, though. Tariq says it's a bounce back spot as well. Adam says I'm on the Clippers, going contrarian here. Also, we'll sprinkle on the money line. Mark says Cleveland will score in the paint and above the break. Clippers not good with these. So let's see, did I miss that? Let's see. Oh, well, no, I didn't miss it. I don't know. We'll see if the 3-point shot starts to come back here for the Clippers. I mean, for the Cavs. Like I said, they've been pretty bad shooting the 3-point shot. The Clippers have defended the 3-point line pretty well recently too. So we'll see. That could also be because the defense other teams that they played against have been pretty terrible. Like Charlotte just let James Harden do whatever it is that he wanted in that last game. Cavs money line. I cashed with you yesterday on the over. I'm glad you played the over, bro. He says take the under in the Cavs game. Probably should have played the over too. Dropping dimes says Clippers first half team total under 56.5. Cavs opponents are 16-10-1 to the under when the Cavs are road favorites on the season, 5-0 to the under last 5. I think the Clippers struggle to score early. See that. Clippers are undefeated straight up. At home, I think, is what LJ says, versus the East, to my knowledge, but Cavs off losses to play. Game could be tighter, leaning under. I agree with the under G421. My like the way I just handicapped it says under as well. Especially if I'm expecting the Cavs to play defense. I'm expecting the Clippers to play a little defense as well, especially at home. I typically don't trust the Clippers defense on the road, so I agree with you there. Jose says, don't overthink it. Greek says, listen to your analysis. I like the Clippers first quarter, first half. Maybe jump on the Cavs plus the spread after. Yeah, all things considered, we still got to see if Evan Mobley's going to play, because this line is going to change a lot. And I'm just not into, really playing the games without knowing who's going to play for the teams. So we skipped a bunch of those games yesterday, and I mean, my analysis would have been all over the place yesterday. Who had any idea that Jokic wouldn't play, that line would go up to, and Jamal Murray wouldn't play, that line would go up to 11 and they wouldn't even cover? It's crazy, man. All right, so getting into a quick recap real quick. If I'm playing today, I kind of like Brooklyn and Boston over the 215.5. Probably be taking the points as well. But the only thing that I bet so far is Terrence Mann up and over his 9.5 points. I'm probably adding Kuzma. That's probably going to be a play. I just haven't locked it in yet, which is why it's red. If you're new, red plays are always in. Red plays are plays that I haven't placed yet. Green plays are plays that I have played and sent out to the members. If you're interested in getting the plays when I do send them out to the members, because I do add things throughout the day, you can use the link in the description, sign up and become a member. But yeah, those are the ways that I'm kind of leaning. Also, Milwaukee and Golden State under. You still can get 230 right now. Maybe even 230.5. That is contingent upon if Steph plays, though. We'll see if he plays. Steve Kerr said that they were considering resting him, so we still don't know if he's going to play or not. And Cleveland and LA, I feel like I want to do a little bit more diving into that game, so I won't put anything up here. But pretty long show for only 4 games, but hopefully it was helpful. You at least understand my handicapping process, and if you're interested in my handicapping resources that I use specifically, check them out. jaXon likes the Cavs today, minus the 4. I think it was 4.5. Outlier, 7-day free link trial in the description. Moneyballer, same thing, 50% off using code ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's. And then, of course, as always, check out OddsJam to get that sportsbook screen page. It's definitely helpful. So it's what we thinking about today, man. Tomorrow, like I said, bunch of games. I'll go through them today and may do a show, like a night show, depending on what the injury report looked like. Maybe enough to skip some of these games, honestly. It might be 5 games that I skip, but 13 tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. But enjoy your Tuesday. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And that's all I got for today. I'm out.